stage right now. Put your hands together for the very funny Lucas Alvarez.
Keep it going for your host, everybody. Come on. The last one was a lot. You know when you watch a Netflix documentary and it's about a murderer, and then there's people sitting in that chair and they're like, there were signs? That guy definitely killed 2 people and just confessed to it in front of us. And we're going to be sitting in that documentary one day and be like, you didn't tell us. We should have known. I'm going to go look at old cases. It's cool. The guy with the Philadelphia Eagles hat left, right? I can't get this out of my head, but he said it was a shag carpet afro, and then he said, I wanted that afro, and the hat didn't tell you he was racist being an Eagles fan. Like, wanting an afro, like, to scalp them? Like, I was very, very confused. Your uncle sold drugs to a baseball team. You look like a pitcher, but like before Jackie Robinson was allowed to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of one that you look like. I also worked at a liquor store, but I worked at a cool one. I worked at DT Market, which is in Hawthorne, and I loved it because at the end of my shift, I could get any candy bar I wanted. But you worked at 7-Eleven, and that's like, there is not a good 7-Eleven. I'm so sorry for you to work there. That's like serving time in Iraq. An 11 joke. Summer coming up and doing a TED Talk about periods, and it was the funniest period set that I heard because the earlier one just seemed very problematic, and if there was 2 other women here, there would have been a revolt. But a lot less women today, which is sad. I only think that there's more women here. That's just me. Is that okay? Last night definitely killed 2 people. Ashton and Mila are in hot water. Their support letters for convicted rapist Danny Masterson leaked. They tried to get him less time. So I guess, it wasn't true what they said when they said it was all right. It's all right. Hello?
Wisconsin!
Thank you. I did that set of people that were born after 2000, and they did not get it, except for one guy yelled out Wisconsin. And then I'm like, no. And he goes, some girl literally looks over and be like, Dad, you just shut up. And I'm like, I feel so old. Speaking of Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers are feeling the love after a big win with their new quarterback. Their old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is looking pretty beat up. He got injured in the first quarter of today's Monday night game. Deal that before we introduce our significant other, we will introduce them to our ex before our daughter. We have a 5-year-old daughter. And when they meet, I am going to go like, Aaron Rodgers, meet love, meet Aaron Rodgers. That's like a football joke, and it was longer than... your parents argued about the custody of your dog, and I've never heard a whiter problem. That is like an exclusively white problem. Castillo, I'm Argentinian, so I would say your last name like Castle, because it's America. That's an Argentinian joke. You see in Argentina, the double L's are sh instead of ya. So instead of Castillo, in Argentina we would say Castillo, but I turned it and did a translation into English, because I overstimulated in my early 20s. Cool. 9/11 is a very triggering time for me, not because of the 2001 thing. I was a freshman in high school, so that didn't really bother me that much. But on my second wedding anniversary, I flew my wife into New York to celebrate, mostly because I had to work and we had something else planned, and I'm like, hey, just kidding, we're gonna go see Wicked. So I fly her in, and I got in trouble early on because I was already in the city, and I don't know if any of you guys have been to New York, but it's like $100 Uber ride from the airport into the city, right? And your boy did not have like all the money in the world. I was living in LA, and that's expensive. We had a yard. Having a yard in LA is so expensive. So I was like, okay, Lucas, let's think, right? It's gonna be $100 there, $100 back, right? And I'm like, you know what? It's $100 flat to get a little guy with a sign. And that's sweet, right? She gets to the airport, pick her up. She gets her, and she is pissed, right? And so the first day's a wash, and then we get up early in the morning, and I have everything planned. I'm like, we're gonna go to Grand Central Station, my favorite part, we're gonna get a black and white cookie, we're gonna take nice little walks. And she goes, I wanna go to the 9/11 memorial. And I'm like, babe, I don't think that's a good idea. It's our second wedding anniversary. And she goes, you always get to decide what we do. And I'm like, all right, let's go. We go to the 9/11 memorial, and it's sad. Spoiler alert. She turns around after looking into the pool. She looks back at me, and she goes, you know what? I just don't find you physically attractive. You laughed. Our couples therapist at the divorce, when I told that story, she literally looked at me and she said, oh, buddy. And that really made me feel some type of way. My name is Lucas Felice Alvarez, or Happy Alvarez.